Hello. What's good, y'all? It's Abwon, and this is Before You Watch, spoiler-free reviews. I know it's been a while since I've given you guys some content. I went on a cruise for my birthday. I was out to sea for like a week and a half, but I got plenty of stuff lined up coming out for you guys. So before I begin, if this is your first time coming to this channel or checking out my reviews, they're all spoiler-free all the time. I review Netflix shows, Netflix movies, films, in theaters, indie films, whatever. I review it all. So if that's your sort of thing, you might want to consider subscribing. So this is my third review. I've done one for Flight versus Sully and Magnificent Seven versus The Hateful Eight. So this is my third one. You want to check those out. I'll leave links in the description. Anyway, Netflix has a lot of shows. They have a lot of programming. And now they're stepping up their animated programming. I guess they're trying to compete with Crunchyroll. I'm not really sure, but these two shows, Disenchantment Disenchantment itself is relatively new. I think it's maybe like a month old or 2 months maybe. Big Mouth is maybe like a year old, I think it is. A lot of people do know Big Mouth, but not really. Disenchantment is, I guess, kind of popular, but not really, maybe in certain cliques or communities. BoJack Horseman is like their big American animated show. I haven't seen that yet, but I wanted to go with these two. Disenchantment is made by the creators of The Simpsons, and you'll definitely notice that by the artwork. Big Mouth, I'm not really sure who created that. I know Jordan Peele is a part of it. I'm not sure if he's a voice or if he's an executive producer or he helped with the animation. I'm not really sure, but his name is in the credits. But these two, just because they're both animated cartoons and they're geared towards adults, they are on very opposite sides of the spectrum. And what I mean by that is the humor is completely different. Disenchantment's humor is pretty much like Family Guy and The Simpsons humor. It's kind of offensive, but not really. It's got some sarcastic, witty moments, some pop culture references. You know, it's really quick. It's just a lot of one-liners, things like that, and just odd things are happening. It's based in a fairy tale land, I guess you could say, where there's like fairies and ogres and kings and queens and Vikings and Cyclops and giants and stuff. So it's pretty dope. It's different from the norm of regular cartoons. You know, the three main stars are a princess, a demon, and an elf. Yeah, I know, a completely random, but it works. They all have their own little personality, their own little quirks and things like that. And hijinks just basically ensue. The princess doesn't want to live, a princess life. And, they try to figure things out in terms of what they're going to do next. Like, there's a few subplots going on. I don't really want to give it away. And there's a few twists and a couple turns. Now, Big Mouth. Big Mouth is basically a cartoon about a bunch of kids. They're preteens. I think they're between the ages of like 11 through 13. And it basically just chronicles their everyday lives and their struggle with, puberty and their hormones pretty much. Like, they're horny as hell all the time. They're all trying to figure each other out, figure themselves out in terms of being friends and the opposite sex, the same sex in some situations, masturbating, just things like that. So with that being said, Big Mouth is really out there in terms of the humor. It's just really blatant. It's very crude. It's very sexual. A lot of people will get offended by this. If you're easily offended, you will be offended by this. I mean, it's just pretty much just crude fart humor. You know what I mean? Not to say it's not funny, because both shows are hilarious in their own right, but it just depends on what type of humor you like. In terms of the actual show, I actually felt like Disenchantment was the better show, just because the plot line was, there was actually things going on, and there were certain things that made you care for certain characters. Like, perfect example, okay, the princess, her father, the king, obviously, they're trying to basically get the elf's blood because he wants to create some type of magical elixir. That's all I'm gonna say. Whereas Big Mouth, I mean, they do have some type of plot line, but it's just like a coming of age, and I put a heavy emphasis on coming. It's just like a coming of age cartoon. Things just happen, and that's pretty much just what it is. But I will say this about Big Mouth. Everybody has been there. We're all adults. If you're not an adult, you will be an adult. So a lot of these episodes are definitely relatable. There's an episode where one of the female characters, the school takes them on a field trip. She gets her period for the very first time. One of the male characters encounters pornography for the very first time. One of the guys has a crush on their teacher. These kids play 7 Minutes in Heaven. They drink for the first time with their older siblings. They think it's cool to flirt with like juniors in high school. We've all been there. It's very relatable. But if you're just easily offended and you just find things inappropriate that you probably think that, but you don't think other people should be saying it, then you might want to go. You might want to go towards Disenchantment. Big Mouth might be a little bit too much for you, but if you're really with that gritty, that raw, that in your face, over the top humor, like I don't care who's saying what, I'm gonna say whatever I want when I want, and you can't ask me why. Big Mouth is your show. Big Mouth is your show. The animation is still good on both sides, but I'm going to give the nod to Disenchantment because they do throw some CGI in there a little bit with the animation. It just looks really sleek. Not taking away from Big Mouth's animation, though, because their animation is really dope, too. In some aspects, it looks really good. The pacing of Big Mouth is a lot faster in terms of their episodes. It's just like on top, on top, on top, on top. It's just hitting you. It's hitting you. Things are just going on and going on and going on. Disenchantment, sometimes, it might get a little slow so they can build the story up a little bit and then things happen. But there's a few episodes of Disenchantment that I actually watched again. They were just so funny. So funny. Both shows only have 10 episodes. All episodes are 20 minutes or so. The episodes of Big Mouth actually seem a lot faster, probably because it's just like joke after joke after joke. Whereas Disenchantment, you're actually watching a storyboard play out, I guess you can say. With all of that said, I'm going to say check them both out, but just be mindful about the time and who you're around when you watch them. If you have kids, you're definitely not going to want to watch Big Mouth unless your kids are like 20. But you can probably watch Disenchantment with kids, but they have to be at least like 12. I'm going to give both shows, I'm going to give Big Mouth a 7, and I'm going to give Disenchantment a 7.5. Like I said, I feel like Disenchantment is just the better show, just because the story that actually has like a plot line that you can follow to the end. Big Mouth, is just more for the humor. But I feel like Big Mouth is a funnier show. But I will not tell you a lie, though. There are some scenes in that show that are like really over the top and really offensive. I was even sitting there just shaking my head like, you guys are just crossing the line on these, man. This is just out of control. Like, who finds this funny? But I think that's where they were going with it. They wanted to just be like cutting edge. Like, the show that offends everybody. Oh, you gotta watch it. Because when I first stumbled onto that show on Facebook, somebody posted a clip. I said, are you kidding me? Are you serious? I gotta watch it. So yeah, you can easily binge watch these shows in a day. If you're not doing anything on like a Sunday and you want something to watch, okay, you could throw them on. You could do some laundry, still be entertained, and still know what's going on. You don't actually have to be focused. So check them both out. You know what I'm saying? I got some more reviews coming for you guys. I know the film scene is a little slow right now, but I definitely got a lot of things coming for you guys. Check it out. Check out my top 5s. Definitely check out my top 5s. I got a lot of those coming through. And these face-to-faces are about to hit you in the face. So check it all out. Definitely check it all out. My Crazy Rich Asians review is out right now. You can definitely check that out. It's doing numbers. So, hit me up in the comments. Let me know if you've seen these shows. Maybe I reviewed the wrong cartoon. Maybe I should have reviewed BoJack Horseman. You know what I'm saying? I heard that's really good too. Let me know what you thought. Let me know what show you thought was better. Definitely do not forget to subscribe. I definitely appreciate it. You can hit me up on all my social media links, man. I appreciate each and every one of you. I'm out of here. Peace.